Russian oil refineries on fire. What are the consequences? Trump was deceived by Putin and still is. Newly developed drone net catcher. Will it help against FPV drones? We are UATV. My name is Henry Keane and you are sincerely welcome to the News Pulse. Russia has been forced to revise its August crude oil export plans after a series of Ukrainian drone strikes severely disrupting refinery operations, knocking out a significant share of the country's processing capacity and completely reshaping export logistics. According to industry sources, Russian exports from Western ports are now set to rise by 200,000 BPD barrels per day above initial projections, reaching around 2 million BPD as Moscow diverts crude that can no longer be processed domestically. The original plan was 1.8 million BPD.
Export planning remains uncertain, however, due to ongoing strikes and shifting repair schedules, so delays and volume revisions are likely, they said. Russian oil sellers were yet to receive final loading plans for September, though normally they have the full plan a week before the loading months. Russia's energy ministry and Transneft oil pipeline monopoly did not immediately respond to requests for comment from a Reuters publication.
Direct consequences of the Ukrainian sanctions against the Russian oil industry you can see on the screen right now. Institute Study of War notes that Russia already struggled to meet domestic fuel demand even before the latest attacks, periodically imposing export bans since 2022. But the new wave of strikes has worsened the shortage and triggered sharp price hikes across Russia and occupied territories, driving up consumer and business costs in multiple sectors of Russian economy. The report warns that higher fuel prices will push inflation expectations and overall inflation upwards, creating additional direct and indirect costs for the economy.
The strikes on the refineries come amid a peak in seasonal demand for gasoline in Russia from tourists and farmers. Russia tightened its ban on gasoline exports in July due to a sharp increase in domestic demand. This has caused fuel shortages in parts of the temporarily occupied Ukrainian territories and in the southern regions of Russia and Far East. Over the past months, Ukrainian drone strikes have hit the Volgograd refinery of Lukoil, the Ryazan refinery of Rosneft, the Novoshakhtinsky and Syzran refineries, the Saratov refinery and the Afipsky refinery in Krasnodar Krai, and the Novokuybashevsk refinery in the Samara region of Russian Federation have also been hit, from the Military Portal publication.
And that fire on Novoshakhtinsk oil processing plant was visible from space. Such a massive and huge strike against Russian gasoline production resulted in domestic prices soared dramatically and fuel simply disappeared from gas stations. If anyone wonders why, well, obviously the Russian army needs fuel for the war in the first place. Well, civilian needs are not of the prime interest to the Kremlin and never was, actually. The Institute Study of War highlights that Russia's central bank recently lowered interest rate margin, a move seen as premature by some. But this way or the other, according to Reuters, Ukrainian attacks on 10 Russian refineries have disrupted at least 17% of Russia's refining capacity, and that is around 1.1 million barrels per day. The strikes have damaged processing facilities and hit key infrastructure such as Druzhba pipeline and its pumping stations, limiting Russia's ability to both refine and export crude oil on a significant scale. Trump says he's very angry and pissed off at Putin. And Trump said it not today. He said it in March 2025, back then, 5 months ago. Trump said that after an early morning phone call with NBC News, if he believes the Kremlin is at fault for his ceasefires not being reached with Ukraine, he may impose secondary sanctions from Russia. 5 months ago, Trump was very, very angry with Vladimir Putin when Russian dictator criticized the credibility of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. 5 months ago, Trump said that such Putin's comments were, I quote, not going in the right location. 5 months ago, that what was said by the President of the United States of America.
If Russia and I are unable to make a deal on stopping the bloodshed in Ukraine, and if I think it was Russia's fault, I'm going to put secondary tariffs on all oil coming out of Russia. That would be that if you buy oil from Russia, you can't do business in the United States. There will be a 25% tariff on all oil, a 25 to 50% point tariff on all oil. Donald Trump in a comment for NBC News in March 2025.
Well, a lot of water went under the bridge in this 5 months. Like, for example, 5,000 drones fired at Ukraine, loads of ballistic missiles killing and wounding hundreds of civilians, including children. For this 5 months in a row, counting from the moment when Trump was first very angry at Putin, death, destruction, devastation, torture, and terror was coming from Russia at Ukraine, while Russia was coming to America. Russia was met in America at a red carpet. It was hugged, handshaked, and ridden on a presidential limousine, breaking Putin's diplomatic deprivation bath in exchange for a warm bath full of Russian promises to stop the war, to meet Zelensky face-to-face, to stop killing civilians in Ukraine. The meeting went great. The meeting went beautiful. The expectations were high, and for some, still are.
President Putin at the Alaska summit, Brett, actually acknowledged that this war would never have happened if the president had been in office. And I think
did he also say that at that Alaska summit that he wanted peace? Did he tell you that he wanted to bring an end to the war?
Absolutely. There's a peace proposal on the table. He has certainly said that, and hopefully he stands by that.
It takes two people to tango, and I say it all the time. You got to get them together. I get along with Zelensky now, but we have a much different relationship because now we're not paying any money to Ukraine. You know, stop that. Thousands of young people, mostly young people, are dying every single week. If I can save that by doing sanctions or by just being me, or by using a very strong tariff system that's very costly to Russia or Ukraine or whoever we have, you know. But I stopped 7 wars, and 3 of those wars were going on for more than 30 years.
Well, I hate to break to summit like that, but being angry with an aggressor is not enough to stop his aggression. To break his international isolation, giving the aggressor a ride in a presidential limo, ordering the American army, laying a red carpet under his imperial ambitions, is surely a way to let Vladimir Putin thinking, I'm on the right track here, of continuing making a fool out of the President of the United States, and there's nothing he can do about it. One of the biggest threats to soldiers on the front line is enemy first-person view drones, FPV. To intercept and neutralize the type of UAVs like that, an engineer from Lviv has developed a special device that could save a soldier's life. More in our reportage.
Inside this small device is a special net that shoots out and quickly unfolds in the air. It's capable of intercepting and disabling a drone mid-flight.
Потрібно цими 3 пальцями.
You grip the handle with 3 fingers. This finger triggers the action when you press the button after removing the safety pin. You need to aim in line with the barrel's axis.
This single-use net launcher, called Mitla, broom in English, was created by Artur Shaginyan, a 3D designer from Lviv. After watching numerous interviews with servicemen, he noticed a common problem. Frontline troops often have no way to defend themselves against drones. That's when the idea came, creating a handheld net launcher for use when a drone is already close.
Коли поруч, вже десь FPV.
When an FPV drone is already nearby, it usually lines up to hit the target. In many situations, for example, when a drone is chasing a car, you can stick the device out the window and shoot it down right from the car or trunk.
The device fires a net up to 20 meters. It entangles the drone's propellers and disables it. One net launcher costs about $85. Artur says that's dozens of times cheaper than foreign alternatives.
Вже були також бойові застосування.
There have already been combat uses, like when a drone was chasing a vehicle and was shot down. A big advantage was that the drone didn't detonate during neutralization. Net launchers are still a new concept. People are only starting to adapt to them, just like they did with FPV drones in the beginning, when no one was sure how useful they'd be.
The development took nearly a year. It's currently undergoing testing. ARTA is working closely with the military, considering all possible modifications. Soldiers believe the invention will be useful on the front line, but they want more precision and range.
Загалом побачив в інтернеті.
I saw this invention online and was immediately interested. There's a huge threat to our troops from drones constantly following them. That's why devices like this must be produced. The main thing is that the net must deploy every single time. There has to be a 100% guarantee. If a soldier is using this as a last resort, he must know it will work 100%, not 50 or 60.
The main advantage of this device is that it doesn't rely on electronics. Many drones, especially FPV ones, are now resistant to electronic warfare or simply ignore jamming systems. These drones can't be taken down by standard electronic countermeasures. In such cases, physically destroying or stopping the drone is the only option.
І протидія може
Countermeasures don't always have to be electronic. Some drones use fiber optics or can lock onto a target from 400-500 meters away and continue toward it without a pilot control. So the options are using pulsed laser weapons, kinetic destruction, meaning hitting it with another drone or a projectile, or devices like this. We have pump-action guns and now net launchers like this one.
Similar net launchers to Mitla are used by other militaries as well. For example, Japanese police use interceptor drones that fire nets mid-air. In the US, there are pneumatic cannons that launch nets from special barrels. But the Ukrainian version stands out for its simplicity, battlefield readiness, and affordability. Reported by Yulia Bil, Vadim Dmitriev, from Lviv region, UATV News.
That's it. It was Henry Keane, and thank you for standing with Ukraine. Please subscribe so to stay tuned to what is happening in the world, shown from Ukrainian perspective at UATV. Goodbye.